Hey guys, it's Miss Hall. I just wanted to say hello and we will get this day started. So, today and for the next 2 weeks, we are going to be talking about poetry. Poetry is one of my favorite things to teach, it's one of my favorite things to learn about. And when I was in second grade, just like you guys, I did UIL and I would read the poetry. Um, and I really just like it. It has a lot of feeling, it has a lot of expression, and anybody, you guys know, I like the ones that are expressive. So, a couple of things that we need to know when we are understanding poetry. In poetry, sound and meaning of words are combined to express feelings, thoughts, and ideas. I want you to think about how individually you guys are all very, very different, and you express feelings differently. You express your thoughts differently. You express your ideas differently. Some of you wear different types of styles to express yourself. So think about poetry as a way to express yourself, and there is no wrong way to do that. That's the beauty of poetry. Poets are the people who write the poems, just like authors are those who write stories. They choose words very carefully. When you write poetry, it really helps you understand that words have so much power and you can express yourself with a good vocabulary and really put down on paper how you feel or how you are feeling about a certain idea or topic. And you're also going to start noticing that poetry is written in lines, um, which is going to get you out of your standard paragraph writing. It's going to get you into looking at different types of poems, and understanding that there is no wrong way. And that's what's the cool part about poetry for me. All right, to read a poem, I must make connections. You will find out as we go through the next couple of lessons that you're going to read a poem and you're going to identify with it. You're going to say, oh my gosh, I think this poem was about me, or I have felt that way. And that is you making a connection. You're going to use your senses. Poems and poets they talk about the way you see things. They can describe things how you hear or something you've touched or smelt or even tasted before. And it's just really cool how they use words that make you think about those senses. And you're going to have to infer. When we make an inference, we are using clues in the story or in the text or the poem, and they may not be telling you something specifically, but they have hinted to it enough that you can make an understanding. There's a really good poem in here that will kind of help you understand that one. Lines and stanzas. So before we get looking into poems, we're going to be talking about how they are set up. Most poems are written in lines. A group of lines in a poem is called a stanza. When you think about stanzas, I want you to think like them acting like a paragraph. In my example today, we have March, a poem about March. A blue day, a blue jay, and a good beginning would be my first line right off the bat is a blue day, which means my second line, my third line, fourth line, etc. Here in the bracket, you can see that I have shown you a stanza. There are two stanzas in this poem, our first one and our second one. Some poetry elements that we're going to talk about that poems include. Sometimes they have rhythm, sound, imagery, and form. When we talk about rhythm, think about it's the flow or a beat in a poem. Sometimes it can have a musical feel. It can be fast, it can be slow, depending on the mood and the subject of the poem. And you can measure rhythm in a meter by counting the beats in each line. I gave you a reference of a drum to kind of think about when you're reading a poem. See if you can kind of drum it out. That'll help you figure out a rhythm of a poem. Writers love to use interesting sounds in their poems, and after all, poems are meant to be heard. So, these sound devices that they use are rhyme, which you're super familiar with, repetition, alliteration, and automatopoeias, which are so much fun. And they're fun to say. When we think about rhymes, rhymes are words that end with the same sound. Hat, cat, and bat all rhyme. Rhyming sounds don't have to be spelt the same, like cloud and allowed. They rhyme, but their structure is different when you spell them. Rhyme is a very common sound device in poetry. Think about some of your favorite nursery rhymes. Those are all little poems. Repetition. Repetition is when a bit of the poem repeats itself. So just think it's copied over and over and over. Here we have a poem, one of the ones that I can identify with because I do get car sick. It says, I'm car sick. Open a window. I'm car sick. Take this pill. I'm car sick. Rest your eyes. I'm car sick. Shh, be still. I'm car sick. Drink some ginger ale. I'm car sick. Can you try to wait? I'm car sick. Now we're almost there. I feel better. Darn, too late. Here we can make an inference like I was talking about earlier. What do you think happened? If they feel better after they were car sick, one could only imagine what could have happened. The feeling either went away or they might have lost it in the car. So what we notice here is a repetition. Every other line is the repetition of I'm car sick. It just makes the story come to life a little bit, or the poem come to life. Alliteration is when a string of words begin with the same sound. This is a poem called Soap Hope. I'm standing in the shower, and today I have to cope with a slimy slice of skinny, slippery, flimsy, dripping soap. I try to grip this sudsy strip to scrub my crudsy self, and when I'm clean, I slide the sliver on a corner shelf. Tomorrow when I shower, I close my eyes and hope I'll find it's been replaced by a fresher, fatter soap. Here we hear that S sound over and over and over again, and when you try to read them quickly, sometimes you can get very tongue-tied. Onomatopoeias is sound words like crash and moo and crunch. Here's a very good poem using onomatopoeias. Thunder. Hear him tumble, grumble, rumble, bash, crash, blunder. Old grouch thunder, always in a mood to fight, morning, afternoon, or night. Lightning quickly answers back with a zigzag, flashing crack. Now notice also, I want you to look at here how the word is more bold and it's darker. It's really wanting you to put emphasis on those words. All right, short lesson today. Here's your assignment. Choose at least one of the elements of poetry we have talked about today, and you are going to write your own poem. It can be about anything you like. It can be short and sweet or long and emotional. That is the beauty of poetry. You can type it or write it on paper, whichever is easiest for you to get into your teacher. Please make sure you have it turned in by Sunday. Don't forget to put your name and to turn it in. If you have any questions, please reach out and we are here to help. Bye guys, see you Thursday.